All right, sports fans, welcome out to another episode of the Gridiron 64 podcast. We have another guest. He's a coach, and I'll introduce him here in just a minute. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce my crew. We are in full effect again today. This is part one, the interview. I'd like to introduce my crew at this time. We got the big T, Tony Pena. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Ready to get it going.
All right. And then we got the Z-Man, Johnny Zavala. How you doing, Johnny?
Doing good, doing good, doing good.
And then we got the coach, Mr. Steve Cantu. How you doing, coach?
Hey, blessed brother. I'm happy to be here.
And it's Monday, so we're back. We're excited. We're talking football again. Like I said, we got another guest. He's a coach from the Corpus Christi area. I'd like to introduce him. He's the Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial Eagles head football coach and athletic coordinator, Ben Bitner. Ben, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir, Ben. And I know you've had a long day, so thank you for spending some time with us. We're going to try to get you out of here as quick as possible. The guys have a few questions. Kind of want you to shine some light on, of course, your team this year, what you guys are doing, and then kind of talk a little bit about your players. So the guys do have some questions. I'm going to turn it over to the Z-Man first. He's got a few questions for you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Welcome aboard, Coach. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir, Mr. Zavala. Thank you.
What brought you to the Veterans Memorial to be a head coach for the Eagles? What was it that brought you over?
I've been here for this is my 5th year. I came over to Veterans just kind of by chance. I knew what kind of program it had the potential to be. I was really impressed with the school and the way things were going, and really impressed with Coach Semper and the staff, and that's what attracted me to the job. But I've been here as specialist coordinator, then offensive coordinator for 4 years. So I didn't come in, right on the ground floor, but came in pretty quick. And just the potential of what veterans could become, and then the intrigue of, being a part of starting a program and building traditions and all that. That was something that I found very attractive and alluring.
Yeah, you're certainly a big old standout here in the area by far. So I'm glad we got you on. What kind of offense do you all run? We always hear about big Veterans Memorial doing this, doing that. What's y'all's base pretty much?
We're a spread offense, but I think that a lot of times gets thrown into a pass happy or an air raid type offense, and I think that we throw the ball, but we get into a spread formation or trips formations, but our schemes are old school wing T schemes. We want to run the football. They think that we have to establish the line of scrimmage. Don't think that we could be successful on offense if we don't run the football. That doesn't mean that, like Kyle Allen, we need to run it 50 times and throw it 3 times and run for 600 yards or what they do sometimes. But I think that we have to establish the run, and then we try to play to our kids' strengths. We throw the ball probably a bit more this year than we have in the past, but I think that's because that's where we have a lot of our experience on our offense, and I think it's because that's some of the stuff that's been given to us this year. But we're a spread offense that tries to run the football and establish a run, establish a new line of scrimmage, and then tries to get the ball to our playmakers in space.
Nice. So I'm pretty much of a defensive guy. Who are your defensive standouts?
We have a bunch of them in it, and I think that's something that I could say on any side of the ball, offense, defense, special teams. It really depends on the week. We've had a bunch of guys have to make big plays and fill in big time roles depending on the week. We have some defensive starters that are back that have been established for us. At corner, Nick Reyes is a 2-year starter. At outside linebacker, strong safety, Romeo Lara is a 3-year starter. They're both, established all district type players that are in their senior year. But then we have some young guys who are playing for us that had got some experience last year as juniors or as sophomores or freshmen, actually, both of them freshmen, that are starting to come in their own. In the secondary, we have Christian Sapsuk and and Luke Johnson, who were sophomores this year that played a little bit and got some experience last year, but playing bigger and bigger roles. And then our defensive front, I think, is probably the strength of our team right now, and that's 6 guys, 6 juniors, all that got a little bit of playing time last year, but have really done a good job growing up and getting better this year. We have the Freyr twins, Joshua and Jared Freyr, Nick Guerrero, who's been a part of the program kind of since we started. His brother was part of the program when we started, and then graduated and played at Kingsville, and Nick's a junior, been on the varsity for 2 years. And then we have Josiah Lewis, Rylan Birch, we have Garrett Gonzalez, and a few others. Then at linebacker, we have ER Zadase. He runs the show as our Mike linebacker. Gets everybody lined up, gets the calls, gets us in the right defense. And then we've had a couple different kids step up at the weak backer, whether that's Omar Barrera or Luke Moya. We got a bunch of kids that do a really good job for us and do their job. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Sure.
Sounds good. Sounds like you got a lot of depth in there too.
Yes, sir.
That helps a lot. Fresh guys. Well, that's all I got, Gabriel.
All right. I'm going to go to Tony next. Tony got a question or two for the coach.
Yes, sir. And I just want to piggyback off of what you just said about some of those guys, some of those sophomores, some of those juniors, and stuff like that. And what I want to talk about, I want to go to the offense. You got a junior quarterback. He's got 17 touchdowns already on the season, 1,400 yards. Rushed for another 490 yards. How exciting is it to have? Tell me a little bit about how exciting it is to have a quarterback who could step in, because I know the quarterback you had last year, I can't remember, was it Ortiz or
Carter Centerfit.
Centerfit? Okay, yeah. So you got another guy come up, young guy, junior, comes up, fills those shoes real well, and having a really good season. Tell me a little bit about him. Tell me a little bit about his work ethic and what's getting him to have the success he's having this year.
I think Eli's a kid that since he was in our middle school feeder programs, we identified as a kid that could have success at the varsity. And he has. Last year he was on the varsity as a sophomore, didn't play a lot as far as having to come in and be the dude. But unlike a lot of places, last year we were fortunate. We got in a bunch of games that we were ahead on people pretty quick, or felt like we could put some of our younger kids in, and he got a bunch of experience in the second half of games last year and showed the ability, that he had the ability to one day lead our offense. I think that he's done a really good job of being efficient in running our offense and taking what our defenses have given him. Does a good job reading defenses in the run game. He can take it down and pull it down and run himself. I think that's probably surprised some people that we played that have seen him in the last few years, his ability to run. But he also does a really good job distributing the football. He doesn't just eye one guy down and try to give it to De La Pena every single time. He's going to look at the defense. He's going to look at the play call, and he's going to identify both pre and post snap where the ball needs to go, and he's going to get there. And if it's not there, he's going to do a good job. And this is probably what I've been most impressed with this year. He's going to do a good job of keeping us out of negative plays, whether that means tucking the ball down and running, whether that means scrambling and keeping his eyes downfield, or whether that means throwing the ball away. I think he's thrown one interception, and really in the film on Saturday, I told him that was my interception. If I could have had it, it would have been one interception for Coach Bitner and none for Eli. I told him to force the ball at the end of the half against GP, and he did. And if it was just him, he probably wouldn't have made that throw because he hasn't put us in negative situations. That's what I'm been most impressed with as far as his growth and development. But I think that he's just getting more comfortable, back there, getting more comfortable with what we're actually asking him to do. And I think the game's slowing down for him. He's a great kid, works his butt off. He's coachable. He's a leader. He's an enthusiastic, happy, positive kid that likes to take coaching. Teammates like him. He likes being around his teammates. And I think that he's settling in every week more and more.
Yeah, that's an important stat that I forgot to bring up. Yeah, he does only have one interception in 7 games, so that's very impressive. And you're saying that was in this last game? So
That
before
was,
this
yeah, that was against GP at the end of the first half.
Wow, wow. So that's
we,
that's very, very impressive. Well, it's exciting, coach. I know you're probably excited. The team's probably excited. You got a young team. Y'all are having so much success. And I looking at your roster, you got a lot of sophomores and juniors on this team. So y'all are doing some wonderful things. Congratulations on the success y'all are having. Congratulations on good luck for the rest of the season and into the playoffs. I know y'all are gonna make a good playoff run and represent the city in a big way. Just we're gonna be watching out for y'all and really trying to shine some light on your school and your boys and see what we could do just to help y'all represent the area in a big way. And again, thanks for coming on and being with us.
absolutely appreciate it, Mr. Pena. Thank you.
Coach, you're up.
All right. Coach Bitner, thank you for taking some time out. I know you're extremely tired and ready to wash off the day and get prepared for tomorrow. But we thank you for coming on. The Gridiron 64 is all about shining light on the coastal Bend area. We're all South Texas guys, and we love coastal Bend football first and foremost. And we saw a need, to have more people shine some light on these kids down here. They got some exceptional kids doing great things, and we just felt as a whole that not enough light is being shined on these kids, and we like to give the opportunity for the coaches to come on and just and maybe even the coaches don't have the time sometimes. You may have your local beat reporter come out and do a quick little rundown for you, for your local newspaper. But I mean, there's a lot of people that are interested in how veterans is doing and how do they continue to have the success that they're having. So we really appreciate you coming on and talking about your program, Coach.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So earlier on, you talked about your rushing attack and how you guys just kind of mix it up, just do enough rushing just to, keep the guys honest and everything. And your guys are extremely great. I mean, I didn't have stats going into this week's game, so it was kind of all stats off of the last one. So my numbers may be off a little bit, but I had you guys down for 185 carries. This is as a team with 1,400, a little over 1,400 yards, averaging 7.6 yards a carry. And as a team, if you're able to do that, right? If you're able to just, 4 yards is great, you know what I'm saying? But 7.6 yards as a team is going to keep those guys back. So you guys do an extremely good job spreading the ball around. You have Jones down there with 3 touchdowns, Hernandez with 3, Hinojosa with 2. And of course, Durette, he does his thing as a quarterback too. And that's super impressive. But I wanted to touch a little bit on the passing attack. So on the hold on, I lost my note here. Oh man, let's see. So De La Pena and Guerrero. I'm sorry, sir. So in 6 games, they got 30 catches between them with 390 yards. Averaging over 13 yards a carry, a reception. How important is it to have those 2 guys in those roles? Having those options for the guy to be able to complete his passes down the field. How big of a role are those guys playing for you?
Both AG and Cam are big time players for us. I think after this week, between the 2 of them, they have, or after this past week against Moody, I think between the 2 of them, they have about 65 catches. Both of them are 400-ish yards. Cam, I think, has 7 or 8 receiving touchdowns. AG had two big touchdowns last week. No, but they're really big for offense. I think, Cameron De La Pena has been a player in the Coastal Bend for 3 years now. He started for us as a sophomore when we went to the regional final for the first time against Wagner, and hasn't ever relinquished that role. He's just gotten better and better. Last year he's an all-state player. I think he had something like 76 receptions and 1,100 or 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, I think, which tied our school record here with Sesto Lease. But Cam's a player. He starts on our basketball team, has since he was a freshman year. And if Cam gets going early, then our offense is clicking, and usually we're pretty efficient and we're pretty productive. Now, that being said, everybody we play knows that if Cam gets going early, our offense is going to be clicking and going to be productive. So people are going to try to do things to take that away. I think we see that every week, and it's really important to have somebody else. And AG is one of those guys that we can rely on and we can get the ball to and can make stuff happen. I think that we have a bunch of guys. AG and Cam get the ball, have gotten the ball a lion's share of the time when we're throwing it. And I think a lot of that is because they've been on the field the most. Cam obviously has been a starter. AG was a spot starter for us last year, played some running back, played some receiver, played some outside receiver, but did a bunch of different things for us, but he played significant minutes all year on the varsity last year. And those two guys really were the only two skill kids that played that type of significant time last year. So they are the ones who should be producing and the ones that have been producing. But I think if you go and look at it, we have a bunch of guys with 8, 9, 10, 12 receptions. We don't just have 3 or 4 guys that we throw the ball to. I think we have, a dozen guys that have receptions, and I think that's been big for us. But those two guys, Cam and AG, they're the leaders of that position group. And Coach Acosta, who coaches our receivers, does a really good job with them and with all of them. But both those guys are keys to our success. But they're really, really selfless guys too. They show up, they work their butt off. They're really physical in blocking, whether it's run or pass. They do a bunch to make other guys around them go. And then, when they get going, our offense gets better and we play with a lot more confidence. But they'll be the first one to tell you that they want somebody else to get the ball, or they want to celebrate with one of their other teammates in the end zone. And I think that goes a long way for the growth and development of our football team.
Yeah, that's awesome. You need kids like that. That is special. I got one more last question, Coach, and I'm gonna let you go. As a team, you guys are averaging 47 points a game, giving up 15. Could this team get better? And if so, what do you say that you guys need to improve on?
Absolutely. I think you can get better. If I said that we couldn't get any better, you probably need to fire me. Somebody needs to fire me today. But I think we need to be more consistent. And I mean that in a couple ways. I think that we need to be more consistent throughout a game. I don't know that we've put together 4 quarters of football that we think is 4 quarters of high level consistent football on all 3 sides of the games. I think that there's games you can go look to, and I think we play really, really well in special teams. And then there's a game you can look at and we play really, really well on offense. And then, you can look at a game we play really, really well on defense. And then most games you can point to some stretches where we're doing all 3 at a pretty high level. But I don't think that we've consistently put 4 quarters of that together. I think that that's the goal and that's where we want to get. As far as how we need to do that, I think it comes down to 3 things that are going to sound cliche and coach speak like, but we need to not turn the football over and create turnovers. We need to be able to run the football and stop people from running the football, and then we need to be able to prevent the big play, and then on the other side of that, create some explosive plays. Last week against Moody, and credit goes to them, they did a really good job grinding out first downs and staying on the field and being physical. And they did a really good job of preventing the big play on defense from us. But, last week against Moody, we were on the field for a long time. We had a lot of first downs. We had quite a few yards, but we weren't able to have those explosive plays that got in the end zone, and that presented some problems for us. And then, I think that we made some big stops defensively. We only gave up 14 points, which is always nice. Our defensive coordinator probably wouldn't say that. He wants to shut everybody out, but if you only give up 14 points, you should win. But I think that our defense had a lot of opportunities to get off the field last week, and they didn't. So I think those are some things that we need to do to get better. I think absolutely we can get better. I expect to get better. I think that the improvement that we have from this week to next not only shows up in next week's game, but is going to show up down the road in the playoffs.
Sure.
If we're not getting any better now, we can't, round one of the playoffs decide that we're going to have to get a lot better because we're playing a playoff team and flip a switch. That's not how this stuff works.
Yeah.
So to reach our goals and to do the things that we want to do and continue to play to the standard of Veterans Memorial football, we need to get better weekly and daily at practice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Coach. Well, I appreciate your time, Coach. I'm gonna pass it on to Gabriel, but just know that we'll be watching and we'll be continue to look at the numbers and talk about your boys and all the success that they're having down there. So it was very nice meeting you.
You too. Thank you, Mr. Cantu.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Coach, listen, I don't have any questions for you. I know you've had a long day, so we definitely want to get you out. The Gridiron 64 appreciates you coming on, spending some time with us. We're going to continue to watch your team as they finish out the district and into the playoffs. Coach, we'd also like to probably somewhere around maybe the first week of the playoffs or the last regular season game, we'd like to be able to bring two of your players on. We don't know their parents. We don't know them. So we'd have to go through you if that's okay, which is Durette, your quarterback, and De La Pena, your receiver. We'd like to bring them on probably right before the playoffs. You guys have been dominant. You've been dominating this district for the last couple of years, and it don't look like much is going to change here this year. And it looks like you got a bunch of young players, and you're going to continue to be good the next couple of years. But we want to keep you guys on the Gridiron 64. Let the community know around the surrounding areas of Corpus how well you guys are doing, and hopefully you guys will get a deep playoff run like you have in the past. So, Coach, thank you for coming on. We'll give you the last word. Anything you want to add before we call it a night?
Not a lot. I appreciate it. It has been a long day, but anytime that I can come on and talk about our kids, about our school, about our coaches, and our community, this is a special place. Veterans Memorial is a special place. From the top down, we got special kids, but we got special coaches too. We got special administrators and teachers. We have great support, and it's a great community that likes football and likes kids, and really, they're a proponent of everything we do, all sports. So this is a special place. I really, really appreciate the opportunity getting to talk with y'all about football and about our kids and about Corpus Christi veterans. It's a special place, and I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And once again, Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial Eagles head football coach Ben Bitner. Thank you very much, Coach. And from the Gridiron 64, good luck the rest of the way.
Good night,
Thank you,
Coach.
guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir.
Sir. That was Coach Ben Bitner, head football coach, athletic coordinator for the Veterans Memorial. Guys, he's been his group. He was the offensive coordinator the last couple of years, the deep runs that they made. And then, of course, he's now a first-year head coach. And it looks like they're going to be dominant again this year. And like Tony said, he's got a lot of young cats down there. And so that's scary for vets the next couple of years. But it was great to have him on to kind of shed some light on his program. And as I said, we're looking forward to calling Coach Bitner back and seeing if we can get an interview either the first week or right before the playoffs start to talk to his quarterback, Durette, and, of course, his wide receiver, De La Pena. It'd be nice to get them on to talk and see how far the boys think they can go before we get into the playoffs. It was great having him here. We want to thank him for coming on and talking about his program. Guys, before we take a little short break, we're going to come back. Tony's going to lead us in the breakdown, week 7 breakdown. This will be the games that were on GI 64 this past Friday. And then, of course, we're going to preview week 8, which is coming up this Friday. I did send you guys a schedule, so I didn't get nothing back from you guys. So I'm assuming you guys were okay with I just assumed that, so I went ahead and took it. But we do have to come up with a state playoff. I do have a guest that's going to be joining us here on the Gridiron 64. Most of you guys know him. Coach Steve may not, but Johnny and Tony, TJ Riddell. He's the owner of the PMP podcast, the Pigskin Mafia podcast. He's going to join us. He's an alumni for the Ingleside Mustangs. So he went to school down there, and he knows that his team will be playing our team coming up on Friday. So he wanted to come in and kind of bump up his Ingleside Mustangs and round those Mustangs up. So I said, hey, you can come on in and talk about, shed some light. Of course, the Ingleside 6-0, so they're pumped out there. Rockport is got one loss, so it's going to be another good one. So he'll be joining us just on the preview to talk a little bit about his old school and let's see what he thinks his chances are of beating the Rockport Pirates. It'll be a good game on Friday. So guys, let's take a little break, about 5-10 minute break, about 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll start the breakdown and then we'll get into the preview. So about 5-10 minutes, guys.